Like that?
This may seem costly.
Oh, you want money on an annual basis for that, and everything we have. You're not getting that. Me being polite to you, not wanting to attack you, does not give you the right to actually want money for not being attacked. That's right, it's me, Scripter. How you doing, folks? Good, I'm doing great as well. We're back with another episode of Master of Orion Conquer the Stars, and today I think is Micromanagement Day. So, let's take care of whatever was left over from last turn, which is you. Thank you. Same queue as always, I'd say. We need that. Could we buy that? No, we cannot. Not with 43 credits. So, focusing on research, right? Let's go for that. We definitely do need the government support facility. Keep that one in mind. I'm coming back to that in a second. We need that. Starbase might be nice. This way around. So this is 16 turns until we can support 2 people and 14 turns until we get 2 people. So we're gonna buy this as soon as we can, and then we have that ready once we have population growth here. This is nearly done. We bought that. This fits, this fits. Looking good. So, let's see, what do we need to take care of actually? What's the stuff that we've neglected a little bit? Well, let's have a look. We have 2 planets here with an exclamation mark, right? Or whatever that is supposed to be. So, this one gets this starter symbol because of high gravity, and this one as well. On top of that, this one is actually radiated. So, let's start up here. Yeah, I think that's an exclamation mark. So this colony production, research and food decreased by 50%. Now we don't care about the food, right? We only need to care about production and research. And there's really nothing we can do against research. We are currently working on gravitic fields, which will give us this, the gravity generator. And what it does is eliminate any production negative effects caused by low or high gravity. So we can work out the production, but not the research. So anything that gives us per population bonus here is not as effective, because this technically too, we have our racial malus of 25%, now we have this minus 50%, so we're down to 1. It might even go down to 0. Let's see what we get. Oh, we actually get those 2. So this might have been actually 4 or 5 in the beginning, and we only get displayed 2 because that's the maximum we can get out of it. Alright, so that's not too good, but then again there's only 1 slot here. We have a maximum population limit of 8, 2, 4, 6 slots, plus this one, and these one are completely wasted on us, so we will put somebody in there eventually, but we won't get much out of it. So once we have this research, we need to rush that, so we need to save up some money so that we can actually do that on this planet, and of course on this planet as well. On top of this one is radiated, like I said. We have the technology now to install this planetary radiation shield. The radiated worlds become barren as long as the shield remains in place. So if this is destroyed, it reverts back to radiated. But once we have it installed on this planet and it's barren, we can actually do some terraforming on it, like we could with any other planet. And we can upgrade this shield later on, I think 2 times. Because it also protects against orbital bombardment. So should we ever get invaded and somebody started dropping fusion bombs or something like that, this will help to not lose structures, people, and defense in terms of Marines. So that's top priority, to get these planets up to speed, that we don't have this huge malus of, yeah, technically a half, at least to production, because production is what we need to get those buildings cranked out, right? Good, this is working fine. 6 turns until that is done, and then Operation Butterfly is firmly established. Well, it technically is already now, because there's nobody here, nobody can come in, and we have ships in the systems. Last thing to do is this ship will be there in 1 turn. 1 turn to get here, and then 1 turn we do manually, so that will be the last planet we colonize for now. Now let's have a look from the beginning. Let's have a look at some of these figures. Moral, for example. I mean, we don't have anybody on strike here, but going to the next colony, the first planet we actually colonized, max population, everything built that we can, pretty much. Not much left here. We still have one person on strike. We don't really want that. We want every person working, right? So, we have 85% here, and we have 95% here. Now, why is that? You will spot it fairly easily. It says capital and star system 25%, which means we get a flat 25% bonus just because this is our capital planet. And it's the star system, it's not on this planet. So if we were to collapse this asteroid belt into a planet and establish a colony there, we would get the same bonus. Usually there's not much in your home system where you can actually use this bonus, so it's kind of a waste really. But still, it's there, it's nice. Then we have the Holo Simulator, but you will spot that there's no government support facility. Well, you have your capital here. That's why you don't get that. So here, we have the government support facility with 15%. Now our capital bonus is 25%. That's where this 10% difference comes from. So for every planet except for the capital, if you have all the support facilities, you get a maximum of 85% with the current tax rate of minus 50% there. Right? Good. So to maximize this, of course we need 100%, right? So where do we get another moral boost? Let's have a look. Morale. See, and sometimes when you click it just doesn't work. Now it works. Good. So that's the first one. 15% plus 5 security. Well, it's not really important for our current brain work here. Then we have that one. Plus 15% maintenance of 2. That 15% gave us maintenance of 1, so it's cheaper. And there's a long time nothing. And then we get to this finally, which is the Pleasure Dome. This gives us 30% and has a maintenance of 3. Remember, we only need an additional 15%. So we're at 115%, which doesn't do us any good, because how can you have a moral higher than 100%? Well, you might have. I don't know what those guys are smoking on their planet then, but we don't need more than 100%, because 100% will make sure that nobody is on strike. So once we have this, we can actually go back and say, you know what? We are going to demolish this building and save 2 credits per turn. So this will effectively boost our credit income by 2 per planet. Right? I think that's a good idea. Well, as you can see, we haven't researched anything here. To get there is still ways off. That's near the end. But we're getting there, eventually. And, well, once we're here, do we actually still need that 2 credits? Because once we're here, we're going to get this one. Empire credits plus 100%. It's Empire unique. You build one building and you have this for all of your planets. This bonus. So, we're getting there. Also, moral plus 10% due to virtual reality networks. So getting this will give us 95% on every planet. So rushing this route up here is actually more interesting than going down here. So if there's nothing here that we need in the prerequisites for this technology, we might go through here, because there's another building that we want. And another flat bonus that we want. Plus 5 tiles in all colonies means plus 5 people we can use for maybe production. And then right over here, it also gives us this plus 50% research bonus. Again, Empire unique. Build one building and you have that plus 50% for all of your planets. That's quite nice to have. Well, it's an endgame technology. Of course it's nice to have, right? Good, so we definitely need to keep that in mind. That's the little micromanagement we need to do there. Then, what else do we need to keep in mind? What do we need to look at? Credits. It's coming along nicely. The only thing that decreases this is really the buildings you put on the planet. Everything that has maintenance on it. But as you can see, all those planets that actually have pretty much all the buildings you can have are doing fairly nicely. I mean, even those 39 here, there's not much left. What do we have here? That's 2. It's 2, it's 4, 5. Don't need those. So this is a decrease of 5, so we will stay at, what, 34? If we have that on each of the planets, it's good. Well, it's with a population of 11, so of course if we have less people, like this one, we don't get as many credits out of those people, so we don't have as much of a bonus. But we're still in the plus, I would say. We're still making money on each of those planets, which is good. We're not losing any money here. Now when we go down the line to all those new planets that we have, pretty soon we get these. Of course, we have some buildings here that we can't just support with one person. We do buyouts fairly often, so we have buildings faster than we have population growth. Doesn't really matter to us, right? I mean, -3 compared to +51. We can do that for a number of turns. We are at +324. Now remember the beginning of the game when we were at +17? And the best we could do was +26 or something like that with the credit taxes as we have them at the moment, highest level. We couldn't even go to highest level there. We had to stick with +4. Alright, so that is working out. Only thing we really can boost now is this figure. Now, what do we have that boosts our research? Let's have a look. So we have all of these orange ones. The blue ones are the unresearched. Research per cell +2. Yes, definitely nice. But then don't forget we have a racial malus of -25%. So let's say you have 10 people in total in your empire. And each of these do 2 research. Now, -25% gives you, what, 1.5? As this game doesn't deal with, well, digits, you can only do 1 or 2, so it either rounds it up or down. It doesn't make much sense to round it up, because then the 25% malus won't do anything, so I believe it's rounded down to 1. So instead of 20 research, we're doing 10 research with our racial malus. Now, if we get this research per cell +2, well, if the original cell was 2, it's now 4, -25% is 3. So we're doing 30 instead of 10. That's definitely an increase. That's nice to have. But then, where are we? This one upgrades our research laboratory. So the research laboratory does what? +4 flat? Now it's +10. So if we have these 10 people spread across, let's say, 4 planets, and we build this on each of the planets, then it's a flat +40, plus the original 10 that we do, so it's 50, instead of the 30 that the other building would do. It's a bigger increase for us than it is for any other race, because we have this racial malus, so anything that gives us a flat bonus is more value than it would be for any other race that does way more per person than we do, right? So that's one of the things you have to keep in mind. There's a lot of math involved here. For those of you who don't just want to do the math, it gives you a bonus, take it. I mean, that's what you do, right? And then we are getting into endgame. There's not much here that will really boost us, except for that one, of course. The +50% on everything is just incredible, because it doesn't say +50% on everything a person does. It just does +50%. So you take everything you have. For example, what we just calculated, our, what was it, 40, 50? 50% on top is 25, 75. Just like that, for building one building. Okay, this building is a bit pricey. Of course it has to be. 260 production cost. If we do 25 on a planet, that's 10 turns, right? Well, 10 and a little bit. The rest is buyout. Maintenance 10, yeah, it's pricey. We need to find a planet where we can actually afford that, but our capital should do just nicely for that, right? And we can balance that with this one fairly easily. About the same cost, roughly. And the flat moral passive bonus, this is definitely one of those technologies you're just waiting for to get in as soon as you can. So, we're continuing with researching our gravity generators. Afterwards we have another look at what we need next. What's left? We killed all the pirates. So you go down here. So your sensors can spot anything that moves through this system, which is probably connected over here. And definitely down here, as close as it is. You never know. It might be this one and this one, or it might be just those two and this one is connected to here. We just don't know it yet because we can't go through here, but at least we can have this under surveillance if somebody comes through there, so we detect another race, so we get more diplomatic options. Speaking of diplomatic options, can we do anything? Well, not with you. We've diplomated you to hell. And you're quite frosty. Remember, it started somewhere here. Now the embassy definitely helped to get it up to here, but then we're colonizing too fast, so it went down here. And we're still to colonize one more planet, so this will go down fairly quickly. And probably end up somewhere at status hated. Before it comes to that, we should see if we get something out of these guys.
What could be so important that you chance the wrath of the Khans?
Well, they're guarded at the moment. That's not too bad.
So, a bargain.
We didn't exchange tech. There's not much, right? No, we did that already, so there's nothing new here. We do need a lot of money to do these. For whatever reason, money is really important in this game. You can't upgrade ships by putting them back into a production queue and just spend resources on them. Excuse me. You can't... Well, it's a trade treaty. You don't have a requirement of having at least 50 research per turn, or decreasing your research by 10 per turn for these treaties and get a huge research boost at the end, or get 2 or 3 free technologies. This just says money. You money, you research treaty. You money, you trade treaty. Now, for whatever reason, the trade treaty actually costs credits. It doesn't cost as much, 668 at the moment. Look at the research, 2,892. And then the other guy needs to have that as well. There is not even an option where we could say, you know what, I don't care, I give him the money first. Well, of course we could do that as a separate exchange, credits payment, and we could just give him the money and then say, do the treaty, but that still doesn't tell us if he will actually accept this treaty. So giving money first and then trying to get this treaty could be a waste, because you could just say, thank you for the money, but no, don't want to. So that there's no chain of events where you could say, look, I'm giving you this money, but only if you accept that. You could do this all in one trade, of course. You could say, okay, look, I give you this money, and then I want you to do this treaty. But just by putting the money in here, doesn't count this money as potentially his. So this treaty will still not be available, because the game will tell you, you know what, he doesn't have that money. Even if you're offering him that money just now, he just doesn't have it to say yes to the whole thing. So it's a little bit not true to reality, I'd say. I mean, yes, it makes sense on an exchange system, but it doesn't make change on a logical system, really. That limits us quite to doing really nothing. Need to do this if we want to have the economic victory, so we might be working on that soon. Non-aggression pact? Yeah, you know what? We could actually try that. Like that?
This may seem costly.
Oh, you want money on an annual basis for that, and everything we have. You're not getting that. Me being polite to you, not wanting to attack you, does not give you the right to actually want money for not being attacked. Since they are guarded, they should actually be quite happy that I'm offering them a non-aggression pact, right? I mean, that limits me and tells me the next 10, 20, 30, whatever turns, I cannot attack you in any way. So if you're guarded, if you're afraid of us, if you're standing there saying, look, these guys are potentially dangerous, and these guys come, we come on our own and say, you know what, I'm not going to attack you, and I'm going to write that down so you can hold that against me if I should. Why do you want money on top of that? This is basically all you should want. You should actually offer me money for that. So, yeah. Diplomacy. Not always true to reality. Well, then again, diplomacy is usually politics, and when was politics ever true to reality, right? Good, anything else we need to do? Well, we can just advance the turn here and see what happens, right? Don't have money to buy anything, so no need to worry about anything here. You've grown in the wrong spot. That's one of the things. If your people cannot produce food, why put them in a food slot in the first place? This should just be grayed out, saying, no, your population can't do that, so I'm just graying that out. That's it. Devs? Thank you. So, then we wanted to somewhere buy an automated factory, right? There. Districts, right. Good, that's done. And now if there's nothing too important, we should save up some money. We still need to upgrade all our ships. At the moment that's about 1,000 for 2 ships. The third is on its way, right? Yes, 11 turns. So that will be 1,500 then when that arrives. And then we still have to factor in all the new techs we get in those 11 turns. Well, we'll see. Anything important? No, just go on. Oh yeah, we forgot about that. Could have done that last turn. Well, it's not really that much of a loss at the current stage of this game. I mean, we're at turn 171. And we own pretty much half of the galaxy here. Or quarter or a fifth at least. So another planet to buy out. This, you. Also, we can have a look at these one in a second here. You. Let's do it this way. So, what do these do? Those two exactly the same, which is minus 25%. So, we technically don't have any pollution going on any of our planets. See that it's all minus or at least a 0, which is good. Was there 1? Yeah, +1. Oh. Anything we can do against that? No. Alright. So, pollution. How do we get rid of pollution? How do we not have to worry about pollution? Again, thank you. So, first one we had, this one. Minus 25%. Good. And this one is the next one we can get. Minus 50%. Where's the other minus 25%? It's somewhere in here. It's not popping up. We have 2 buildings. There should be 2 lit up here. Ah, who cares? Minus 25% for both of them. So, I know that, so that's what it is. And minus 50. So, 25% plus 25% is 50%, plus 50% is 100%, right? So having that should eliminate all pollution, right? Somehow it doesn't. So I don't really know if it's minus 25% and then on the figure you get from that another minus 25% and on the figure you get from that another 50%, instead of calculating or accumulating all those percentages and giving you a flat number that you deduct from the overall pollution. This is just, well, how does the math work for this game? And it obviously doesn't work in a way that you say this is all 100% once you get this, because there's another building coming up here, which is actually 100%. So once you have this, maintenance 5, you can get rid of all of the others. So this is 3. I think this is 2? Yes. So these 2 together already cost you 5 credits per turn. Plus the other one, it's 1 or 2 credits extra. So let's say it's 6. This will only cost you 5, so it's cheaper and it will eliminate all pollution. Only downside of this one is you can't get this one then, which is plus 2 production per cell. But then again, plus 2 production per cell is nothing really special, right? We have plus 2 production per cell somewhere in here. There, and that's even better. It's plus 1 per cell and plus 2 flat. There's another one which was... no, not cross prospecting. Where's the collider? There. Plus 1 per cell. So, okay, it's a little bit better in terms of production per cell, but we do have other building that can do the job. So we're not fixed on needing that building. And still 5 maintenance. I mean, yes, it's good to have. More production is more production. More production is faster production. So yes, definitely, we do want that. But compared to this, I mean, what good does it do if you can get production per cell, which means you need to put people in there, but then you can't put people in there because otherwise you will have to do a number of turns pollution reduction once you've built something. If you factor that in, you have something that takes 10 turns to produce, and afterwards you need another 5 turns of pollution reduction. Then it takes 15 turns. So where's the benefit in having plus 2 production if you're not using it? With this, we can put all the people in there we want. So instead of 10 turns plus 5 turns pollution reduction, it now takes 13 turns because we don't have the plus 2, but we don't need to do pollution reduction, so we stay at 13 turns. This is way more economic to do. And in the end, we don't have the overall total production, but we don't have the downside of fitting a project in there that actually just costs us time, right? So I'm going for that one once we get there. So much for pollution. So, can we finally get the shield going? That would be nice. 145, what do you cost? 1,116 for 145 production. See, remember those special buildings plus 50% science, 260 production, so this will be roughly 2,000 credits. And I'm not even sure if you can buy that because it's an Empire unique. You could say it's a wonder if you were playing Civilization, so might be not, depending on if they patched that. So we want this here. Do we have any other irradiated planets? Let's have a look. Should say that in here. Fortunately, you have to click on this. There's so much room in here. You could fit all this information just in here without having to click on it, right? But you still have to do so. Inferno, swamp, barren, volcanic, arid, volcanic. Radiated, that's the one we're currently looking at. That's the other one, that's the new one. So you are radiated as well. So you are going to have the shield as soon as you can. Good, these two shields are the next thing we buy, plus these gravity generators for this one and this one. And then we should have equalized out all our planets and should be able to just continue production and spend money wherever we see fit, right? That's what we're going to do. Good. We hadn't had much happening today. It was a lot of theory and a lot of math. We did technically 1 or 2 turns. Made sure that our population is working on what they should do. And I do not foresee any major things happening in the future, at least not on a military scale. Because once we have researched this, we still need to go down here, which is only a couple of turns. We talked about that last episode. Not necessarily that one. Doesn't really make much sense to upgrade 2.5 travel speed to 3 travel speed by using 9 turns when this whole 50% upgrade that we get, almost 50%, only takes like 5 turns. So we need that, then we need that, and then we need that, the ability to go through those space lanes. And once we have that, which will take those 9 turns plus those 5 turns plus whatever is left here, then we can go back to exploring. And it will still take a number of turns until we actually find those people down here and find Orion. And then, once we find Orion, we still need better ships because the cruisers will not be able to deal with what awaits us there. So for today, I leave you with a, let's say, uneventful but enlightening episode. And meet you back the next time when we go back to hopefully exploring the rest of the galaxy. That's it for today, folks. If you like the video, subscribe for more, leave a comment if you feel like it. Don't forget to enjoy yourselves. See you soon.